The legacy of apartheid in South Africa has led to a complex web of social, economic, and cultural challenges in township communities. This presentation explores how social disorganization theory, strain theory, and labeling theory intersect to perpetuate a cycle of disadvantage among South African youth in townships. Specifically, we will examine how the lack of educational opportunities, unemployment, and limited access to resources have contributed to the emergence of Ikasi style and Ampara, and how these phenomena are rooted in the theories of social disorganization, strain, and labeling.
Social disorganization theory posits that the breakdown of social structures and institutions in disadvantaged communities lead to increased crime and delinquency. This phenomenon is particularly evident within South African townships, where the legacy of apartheid has created a cultural and economic context characterized by high unemployment rates, limited educational opportunities, and a shift from collectivism to individualistic ideals, according to Stevens and Lockett in 1997's paper. This essay argues that social disorganization theory has created a lack of opportunities, limited educational access, Ikasi style and Amapara among South African township youth. The adoption of a consumerist and individualist identity has perpetuated social disorganization within township communities. Ikasi style, a cultural identity expressed through fashion, music, and language, has become dominant by material possessions and brand names, according to Swartz in 2012. This prioritization of material goods over collective values and community development has exacerbated social disorganization. Furthermore, limited access to quality education and high dropout rates have resulted in low academic achievement and limited job opportunities, only perpetuating social disorganization and influencing Ikasi style, according to Mpongo in 2016. Social disorganization theory highlights the importance of social integration and collective resilience in preventing crime and delinquency. However, the lack of opportunities and educational access has led to a security gap, resulting in an increased risk of violence and victimization, according to Mpongo in 2016. The normalization of aggression and adherence to street code in street life environments has created deviant norms that lead to criminal behavior and violence, according to Swartz in his 2012 paper. Social disorganization theory has created a perfect storm of lack of opportunities, limited educational access, Ikasi style, and Amapara among South African township youth. To address these issues, investments in education, job creation, and community development are necessary to break the cycle of a social disorganization and to create a brighter future for our youth.
The apartheid regime resulted in both social exclusion and structural violence, which led to unequal educational and employment opportunities for Black communities in South Africa. A lack of educational and employment opportunities led to direly low levels of income. As a result of this, there's still a large amount of poverty-stricken areas in the country. Swart, in his paper on the Ikasi style, argues that poverty hinders an individual's ability to fully participate in both society and the economy. He states that, and I quote, "To be unable to participate directly in the functions of the collective, or to be dependent on others for social access or even subsistence, is to be excluded from full participation as a citizen. Being a full participant in society and the economy fosters a sense of belonging. When this sense of belonging cannot be found through conventional means, people resort to alternative ways of finding it. Hence the emergence of the Ikasi and Amapara style in South African townships. Young people in the impoverished areas of South Africa perceive success through the lens of material wealth. They hold firm onto the belief that if they work hard enough, they will be able to acquire material wealth and be successful. However, the lack of educational opportunities and unemployment prevent them from attaining their goals through legitimate means, thus causing them to divert to other, often illegitimate means of attaining this material wealth. Merton's strain theory argues that the disjunction between cultural goals and the means to achieve them causes strain and results in individuals resorting to criminal activities. This theory is a useful aid when trying to understand how a lack of educational opportunities and unemployment relate to the Ikasi style and Amapara in South African townships.
Labeling theory looks at how people's perceived view on a person or place can affect them and reflect towards them in a negative way. which case can often lead to a person who is branded with a label resorting to crime. When this theory is directed towards an area or a community, it is often seen as a place of deviance in which crime thrives. The most common form of labeling is known as stigmatization, in which a person or area is branded with a label or negative connotation, often insinuating that those who come from or associate with said place are deviant. This line of thinking is unjust, as it does not look at individual people of the community, but rather looks at the community as a whole in a negative light. When looking at stigmatization through the lens of those who face intergenerational poverty and unemployment in South African townships, we can see how many people are often discriminated against on a base level by looking at their socio-economic and educational background. Due to their lack of access to education and job opportunities, people from townships are often labeled with negative perceptions as being lazy, uneducated, or troublesome. However, through the use of the Ekasi style, people from South African townships have found many ways to be resilient and show off their creativity against the harsh stigmatism that comes from living in a township, according to Tsonga 2019. Through this, they were able to make use of Amapara street vending as a way to obtain a vital form of income necessary for survival. The labeling theory of Plummer 2001 can be seen as looking over the difficulties individuals of South African townships have with unemployment, educational opportunities, and narrowing down the efforts they make in their daily lives with the Akasi style and Amapara street vending by just labeling people from townships as deviants.
Post-apartheid. Today's youth live in the most unequal society in the world. Young people, unfortunately, have to live in an economy plagued by crime, corruption, and high unemployment. Job outlooks are low. The latest statistics South Africa, Stats SA, shows the unemployment rate is 23.9% for those aged 15 to 24 and 42.1% for those aged 25 to 34, a burden irrespective of educational attainment. Education, which often informs one's economic success, is a disparity that lingers in South Africa's democracy. According to a household survey study, nearly half of Black South Africans did not complete secondary school in 2018. However, more than 81.1% of white South Africans did. The low number of Black and colored children who finish secondary school also informs the demographics of tertiary rooms. The uptake of Black people in tertiary institutions is disappointingly low. According to Stats SA, the percentage of Black people aged 18 to 29 who were enrolled in higher education was only 4.4%, compared to white people at over 20%. Even when Black South African students achieve the feat to pursuing their academic and vocational dreams, they still struggle to strive. Racism continues to be a dark cloud that hangs over the youth from townships. The Bogan Project states that white supremacy ideologies are still indirectly visible in many top universities. While many Black students enroll in the universities, they struggle to find belongings, and they become discouraged, thus leading to unideal ways of making it in life, due to the strains of these labels that society have created and normalized for them.
In conclusion, the intersection of social disorganization theory, strain theory, and labeling theory provides a nuanced understanding of the challenges faced by South African youth in townships. The lack of educational opportunities, unemployment, and limited access to resources have created a storm of disadvantages, perpetuating a cycle of social disorganization, strain, and labeling. In order to break this cycle, investments in education, job creation, and community development are necessary to provide opportunities for social mobility and participation. Additionally, addressing the root causes of social disorganization, strain, and labeling through policies and programs that promote social integration, collective resilience, and community empowerment is crucial.